Hi everyone, I'm Nick, and this is my attempt at a hardcore Nuzlocke using only bug Pokemon. If you go around asking people what the best type in Pokemon is, you'll likely hear a mix of answers. Some might say Steel because it's super defensive, some people might say Dragon because they've got the best Pokemon, and others might say Fairy types because a lot of common Pokemon have the Fairy typing. But if you ask what the worst Pokemon typing is, you'll hear the same answer: Bug. Bug Pokemon are often seen as weak and unreliable in playthroughs, and they're not wrong. The Bug typing has the lowest average base stat out of all the types, and a lot of the worst Pokemon you can think of are Bug types. That's why today I'll be doing a hardcore Nuzlocke using only Bug Pokemon. If you don't know what a hardcore Nuzlocke is, here's the rules. I can only catch the first Bug type encounter in each area. If a Pokemon faints, it must be permanently boxed. Bag items may not be used in battle. I may not overlevel the next gym leader's highest level Pokemon, and the game must be played on Scent mode. Since I'm playing this Nuzlocke in Platinum, there are 9 bug type families that are available. I play with Species Claws, so I can either have Dustox or Beautifly, not both. Skorupi and Yanma are caught in the same area, so I can only have one of those two as well. Also, since I'm unable to do trades, Scyther will be staying as a Scyther. With the rules out of the way, let's see how I beat Pokemon Platinum using only bug Pokemon. Real quick, if you like this video, please like and subscribe. Everything was streamed on Twitch, so if you want to see the behind the scenes, come check me out. Thanks. I meet up with Professor Rowan, who offers us some Pokemon, but I won't be using those. I make sure to pick Turtwig so that our rival gets Chimchar. This will make it harder later on in the run. The starter I'll be using is actually caught right here on Route 201. We can find a Kricketot at night, who's gonna be our starter for this run. I name her Violin and we start our adventure. Before Gardenia, there's actually no more bug type encounters to get, so we only have Kricketot for now. In general, bug types tend to evolve very early on in the game. Kricketot evolved at level 10, which means that we have a fully evolved Pokemon even before Rourke, the first gym leader. Kricketoon's base stat total is really high for this stage in the game. This makes the start of this challenge relatively easy. Kricketoon gets access to Fury Cutter, a move that becomes more powerful each turn. This was the secret to defeating Rourke. Rourke uses rock types who resist all the attacks I have available to me. If I'm too low on health by the time Cranidos comes in, then a single Rock Tomb will take me out. I want Fury Cutter to be as strong as possible by the time Cranidos comes out, and with a bit of luck, we managed to do that. Geodude missed all of his rock throws, so we managed to kill him for free while building up our Fury Cutter. Out comes Onix, and he manages to get off a rock throw, but he also goes down to 2 Fury Cutters. Last is Cranidos. At this point, Fury Cutter's been building up for 5 turns, so we take him out with 1 shot. I honestly thought Rourke would be so much more difficult. He's one of the few gym leaders who's super effective against us, but that goes to show how good bug Pokemon are in the early game. With Rourke out of the way, we can access Honey Trees. Between Rourke and Gardenia, we can get 4 out of the 7 encounters. In Floroma Meadow, I catch a Wurmple and a Heracross at Valley Windworks. Before getting the other 2, we gotta fight Mars. Mars is usually a run killer, but with Heracross on our side, it was a piece of cake. Our other 2 encounters are Burmy from Route 205, as well as a Combee. By battling inside a building, Burmy will change into Trash Cloak form. This means that when it levels up and evolves, it becomes a Wormadam that's Bug Steel type. This will be incredibly useful for type coverage since we can't get our hands on a Scizor. As you might expect, Gardenia was really easy. At the level cap, Heracross gets Aerial Ace. He also has the ability Guts. By poisoning him before the battle, he's able to take on all of Gardenia. Now with 2 badges, we head over to the Galactic base. All the Team Galactic battles are really boring since they all use the same Pokemon, so I'll only mention the interesting ones from now on. As I make my way towards Hardome City, I make sure to get the Earthquake TM that I'm definitely going to need later on. Ghost Pokemon are going to be a bit of a problem for us. Heracross can't do much against them, so we'll have to rely on our other team members. Fantina starts with Duskull, and I start with Violin. 2 X-Scissors take out the Duskull as she misses a Will-O-Wisp. She then brings out Miss Magius second. Shadow Ball does big damage and gets a special defense drop, so I switch out to Wormadam. Miss Magius uses Confuse Ray, but Wormadam hits through the confusion to knock out the Miss Magius. Last is the Haunter. Wormadam gets Psybeam by level up, so one Psybeam takes out the Haunter, earning us the 3rd badge. As we go to the next gym, we get to Route 210 and find another encounter. Scyther will be crucial to this run. Scyther is fast, offensive, and has the ability Technician. Now that we can use Scyther, Maylene goes exactly how you expect it would. Technician boosted Wing Attack just sweeps her entire team. Wing Attack takes out the Machoke and Meditite, but Lucario actually survives one. He gets off a Metal Claw, but thankfully, the next Wing Attack knocked him out, earning us the 4th badge. These first few boss battles are going surprisingly well. After Maylene, we clear out Veilstone HQ and head towards Pastoria City. Here, we can get one more encounter in the Great Marsh, Skorupi or Yanma. Since my team currently consists of all physical attackers, getting a Yanma here would make for some great diversity. Catching Pokemon in the Safari Zone can be a little tricky because you don't want them to run away, but thankfully we caught the Yanma. Now with a full team of 6, we're ready to battle Wake. Except Barry shows up out of nowhere and challenges us to a battle. Barry has a Staravia and a Monferno, both of which my team can't handle really well. Wormadam can take some hits from Staravia, but then it baits out Monferno, which Wormadam definitely can't take a hit from. Staravia goes down to a couple of Psybeams, and next comes in Monferno. Since no one can take a Flame Wheel either, I just had to stay in with Wormadam, and with some luck, Wormadam survived with 6 HP left. Now that I'm at such a low health, Monferno was gonna use a random move on me. I switch into Scyther while Monferno goes for a Mach Punch, and Wing Attack finishes him off. We could have easily lost Wormadam there. If Barry's this hard now, he's gonna be much more of a problem later on. His last 2 Pokemon are Weavile and Roselia, both of which go down to a Wing Attack. This is where I realized that we have a major weakness on our team: Flying types and Fire types. Although Fire types are rare in Generation 4, some of the boss battles uses Fire types like Cyrus and Flint, and Flying types are just common in every generation. If I want to have a chance at beating this Nuzlocke, I'm going to need to find some counters for those 2 typings. As I make my way towards Wake, I come up with a plan to win over him. Wake has a Gyarados and a Floatzel that both know Ice Fang. If someone could take care of the Gyarados, Scyther can take care of the rest. And that someone is Yanmega. Yanmega learns Ancient Power by level up, a rock move that does big damage to Gyarados. 2 Ancient Powers and a Speed Boost knocks out the Gyarados, and Wake sends out Floatzel. Knowing that an Ice Fang is coming, I switch into Heracross to take the hit. Ice Fang goes in and he gets the freeze on me. I didn't want to switch into anyone else since no one could take a hit, so I stayed in and used a close combat. Not only did I not defrost, he also hit a crit on me, so I had to switch into Wormadam. She isn't good at taking water moves, so one brine later I had to switch out into Scyther. Scyther comes in on a brine, and 2 Wing Attacks later, Floatzel goes down. Finally is Quagsire. I switch into Beautifly thinking he would go for a water move, but instead he uses Rock Tomb on me and knocks out Beautifly. This was a big mistake. Beautifly was one of my few special attackers, so losing her was a big deal. Wormadam was too weak to come back in, so I had to send out Kricketune. He tanks a Rock Tomb and 2 X-Scissors take out the Quagsire. This was the first death in this run, but it wasn't too sad. Beautifly was probably the weakest out of the group right now, and I had no plans to use Male Combi, so this wasn't that sad of a loss. My next task was to give this old charm to some grandma, and on the way I had to run in with Cyrus. He gives some speech about changing the world and then challenges me to a battle. I start with Yanmega and 2 Ancient Powers takes out his Sneasel. He then sends in Golbat, a flying type. Ancient Powers out of PP, so I had to switch into Wormadam. Thankfully, 2 Psybeams from Wormadam took out the Golbat. Cyrus's last Pokemon is a Murkrow, another flying type. Except this time, Psybeam can't hit this Murkrow, so I gotta stay in with Wormadam and use Mirror Shot. Murkrow brings me down to low health, so I switch out into Scyther, and a lucky critical takes him out. This was a pretty tough battle, considering that he only had 2 weak flying types. After this run-in, I head to Canalave City to get my 6th badge. However, before entering the gym, Barry challenges me to see who's really the strongest. Now that he has a Staraptor and an Infernape, I honestly have no answer for him. Ancient Power from Yanmega takes out the Staraptor, and obviously next is Infernape. My Ancient Powers do about a third, but his Flamethrowers does more than half to me. We survive the Flame Wheel, and Wing Attack takes out the Infernape. Now with the 2 problem Pokemon gone, the rest of his team was easy. Heracross goes down to a Wing Attack, Floatzel also goes down to a Wing Attack, and Roserade as well goes down to a Wing Attack. Byron uses Steel types, a typing that would usually resist Bug, but since Heracross was Fighting type, we took him out easily. Brick Break knocked out the Magneton, Brick Break also knocks out the Steelix, and Close Combat knocks out the Bastiodon, earning us the 6th badge. After defeating Byron, we hear some news about lakes being blown up, so I go to Lake Valor and check it out. At the lake, I confront with Commander Saturn. He challenges me to a battle, stating that anyone who opposes him shall be crushed. Yanmega Ancient powers and takes out the Golbat. I then send in Heracross to take out his Bronzor, and Aerialace knocks out his Toxicroak. This really wasn't a hard fight, but he was the hardest out of the 3 commanders. With Lake Valor secure, I fly home to check on Lake Verity. Mars just beat Dawn, so it's up to us to secure the lake. Wormadam comes out and 2 Psybeams knock out the Golbat. Bronzor comes out, so I send out Heracross to close combat the Bronzor. He hits an extra sensory, but we take the hit and we knock him out. Finally, the Purugly. I don't want Slash going into my defense lowered Heracross, so Wormadam comes back out. She puts me to sleep, so I gotta switch back into Scyther. 1 wing attack later, and we've defeated Mars. The last lake to check up on is Lake Acuity. Before we can get up, we actually have to defeat the 7th gym and get Rock Climb. Candace uses Ice types, so I don't really have a good matchup against her, but Heracross could do some work. The problem on her team is Frostlass. No matter what I do, Frostlass will always be a problem since it has Snow Cloak, allowing it to occasionally evade all of my attacks. Anyone I lead will always bait in Frostlass, which is not what I want. Except for Kricketune. By having Kricketune take out the Sneasel, Candace actually sends out Piloswine first before Frostlass. This means that Wormadam can be out to set up a Sunny Day before Frostlass comes in. Heracross switches in and takes out the Abomasnow while still having the sun up. Now that Frostlass doesn't have that extra evasion, Heracross can do some damage and then switch into Yanmega. 1 ancient power later, we win the 7th badge. This was probably the first fight that I actually planned for. It seems that at this point in the game, my bug types are finally being matched by the opponents. With the ability to use Rock Climb outside of battle, I go to check up on Barry, who's had his snot beaten out by Jupiter. He makes some excuse and then walks out, so I start to head towards Veilstone City. I meet up with Looker, and catch a glimpse of Cyrus giving his big speech and all, but once he was done, I walk up to his office and I confront him. He goes on a tangent talking about a new world, or trying to destroy the one that we have right now, but all I want to do is challenge you. First time I fought Cyrus, it wasn't that difficult of a fight, so let's hope this one goes as well too. He leads with Sneasel and I lead with Yanmega. 2 ancient powers goes in and takes out the Sneasel. Second is Crobat. Ancient power barely kills him and leaves him with 1 HP as he goes for an air cutter. Cyrus heals and the next ancient power knocks him out. Last is the Honchkrow. I go for Solar Beams as he hits Drill Pecks. Luckily, the next Solar Beam takes him out, defeating Cyrus. I go to free the Lake Spirits and I head towards Mount Coronet. Here's where it really gets difficult. We find ourselves in a double battle with both Mars and Jupiter, but Barry shows up just in time to be our doubles partner. The battle starts against 2 Bronzor. Barry leads Munchlax and I lead Scyther. Night Slash does about half to one of them as they go for a screen and a rock slide. Munchlax is useless and just goes for a stockpile. X-Scissor kills a Bronzor as the other one goes for a Gyro Ball. Next out is Skuntank, and Wing Attack brings him just above half. The next Wing Attack brings him to yellow health as he eats his berry. Poison Jab from Skuntank goes into the Munchlax, so I'm actually at pretty high health right now. Finally, a third Wing Attack takes out the Skuntank. As Barry brings out his Staraptor, we finish up the rest of the fight. Quick Attack takes out the Golbat, and Close Combat knocks out the Bronzor. Lastly is a Purugly. Brick Break from Heracross takes it out, getting us to Cyrus. He summons in Dialga and Palkia, while opening up the gates to the Distortion World. I navigate through the maze, and I head towards Cyrus, who's at the end. His team this time around is even more difficult with the added Houndoom and Gyarados. I really prepared for this fight. He leads Houndoom, so a Brick Break from Heracross one-shots him. I don't want Heracross staying in on Crobat, so I switch to Wormadam and get off of Stealth Rocks. 2 Psychics later, Crobat goes down. Honchkrow comes in and he takes some damage with the rocks. Honchkrow has Heat Wave, so I switch into Heracross and... Great! Perfect timing! Close Combat still kills the Honchkrow, but I can't stay in on the next Pokemon. Gyarados comes in and I send in Wormadam. He gets off a Waterfall as I set up a Sunny Day, reducing his water damage. Scyther comes in and Wing Attack 2-shots the Gyarados. Last is the Weavile. Stealth Rocks do a quarter of his health, but Scyther isn't that healthy. I switch to Kricketune on an Ice Punch as it brings me down to half health. If I'm able to get off an X-Scissor, then we can take out the Weavile. Okay, that's a little problematic. No one on my team can take an Ice Punch. So with a heavy heart, I make a decision. Goodbye Kricketune, you are a starter, our very first. You will never be forgotten. Scyther comes in, and X-Scissor takes him out. This was heartbreaking. We just lost our starter. But we can't cry yet. We still have one more monster in front of us. Obviously, since Giratina is not a bug type, we are gonna kill him. One Night Slash from Scyther, and an Iron Head from Wormadam takes him out. Just like that. An easy battle. No nonsense. With the story out of the way, all that's left between us is Volkner and the Elite Four. Let's be honest. No matter how hard you make a Gen 4 challenge, an Earthquake will always sweep Volkner's team. No questions asked. A single Earthquake from a Guts boosted Heracross knocks out all of his team. Jolteon goes down to an Earthquake. Luxray goes down to an Earthquake. Electivire goes down to an Earthquake. And Raichu also goes down to an Earthquake. Now I love Gen 4, don't get me wrong. It's got one of the best story in any of the main games, and it has some of the most challenging gym leaders. But no matter how hard you make a Gen 4 challenge, Volkner will always be easy. The last major battle we have is against Barry. We tank an Aerial Ace, and we go for a Swords Dance to make up for the Intimidate drop. Wing Attack then one-shots the Staraptor with a critical hit. Next is Infernape, and a Wing Attack one-shots him as well. His own Heracross also goes down to a Wing Attack, but then comes out his bulkiest Pokemon. Thankfully, a single Brick Break takes it out. Finally is Roserade, who also goes down to a Wing Attack. Gosh, Barry, you're such an annoying rival. But now with you out of the way, we can head into the Elite Four. The two main problems with the Elite Four is Flint and Bertha. A lot of Bertha's Pokemon have Rock-type moves like Stone Edge or Rock Slide, and Flint has a team of good Fire types, who are all fast and can deal super effective damage to my team. If I want to have a chance against Cynthia, I'll need a good plan to counter those two. Luckily, Heracross with Earthquake is actually faster than all of Flint's team since it has max speed EVs, which are basically just extra stats. So we really only need to come up with a counter for Bertha. And my answer was Solar Beam Yanmega. Yanmega's already faster than all of Bertha's team, so if we're able to get off a Solar Beam, we can probably one-shot her. However, in order to do that, we need to set up a Sunny Day. She starts with Whiscash, so I set up the Sun. With the Sun up, I send in Yanmega to use Solar Beams. By putting maximum special attack EVs on Yanmega, she's able to one-shot all of Bertha's team. First is Golem, second is Rhyperior, and third is Hippowdon. Gliscor isn't a one-shot, but a Wing Attack from Scyther takes it out. 2 down already. Just as I said, Guts boosted Heracross can outspeed and take out all of Flint's team. Brick Break takes out the Houndoom, Earthquake takes out the Flareon, Earthquake takes out the Rapidash, Earthquake also takes out the Magmortar, and finally, an Earthquake takes out the Infernape. Time for Lucian. By virtue of being a bug team, we're naturally super effective against most of his Pokemon. I set up for +6 Swords Dances as Mr. Mime sets up his screens, and we start sweeping through Lucian. Mr. Mime goes down to an X-Scissor, Gallade goes down to a Wing Attack, Espeon goes down to an X-Scissor, Bronzor also goes down to an X-Scissor, and Alakazam goes down to an X-Scissor. The Elite Four is going surprisingly well. Seeing as most of my team members are fast offensive sweepers, naturally we swept most of the Elite Four. The last thing between us and a Bug-type championship was Cynthia. Not only is Cynthia the strongest trainer in all of Sinnoh, she's probably the strongest champion out of all the Pokemon games. If we want to be victorious against her, we have to play aggressive. I did a bunch of calculations before this fight, making sure that all of her Pokemon can be taken out reliably. She leads with Spiritomb, so I send out Heracross. Heracross knows the move Mega Horn for the sole purpose of this Spiritomb. It's probably the only move I had that could one-shot this Spiritomb. The second Pokemon is Togekiss. I did the calculations, and close combat should just barely one-shot this Togekiss. Just like how I predicted. Her third Pokemon was Milotic, and once again, a close combat is in the perfect range to one-shot. The next one out is Roserade. This was another one-shot by Earthquake from Heracross to lead us to Garchomp or Lucario. Since Heracross has served his purpose and won't be too useful against Garchomp or Lucario, The safest play here was just to sack him to bring out the next Pokemon safely. You will be remembered for all that you've done. With his noble sacrifice, Yanmega comes out safely and does about half with Bug Buzz. Flamethrower brings us down to red as I go for an Air Slash, and we get a lucky flinch. The next Bug Buzz takes him down to red as his Flamethrower takes out Yanmega. Scyther comes in, and since Cynthia goes for the full restore, we get off a free Swords Dance. Wing Attack does about 2/3 as the next one takes her out. The last Pokemon is Lucario. I hit Wing Attack and I hope for the best. And with that, we've beaten the champion and we finished the run. This challenge was fun. Definitely goes to show that bug Pokemon are not meant to be underestimated. It was really cool to see that the first stages of this playthrough was really easy and actually passed by really quickly, but the last few parts of this challenge were actually really difficult and required quite a bit of planning. I streamed this challenge on Twitch, so if you want to see the work that goes behind these challenges, or if you want to contribute to future challenges, come check me out. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe for future challenges. My next video is going to be an ultra hardcore Nuzlocke, so stay tuned for that one. But until then, thank you for watching.